We are going to be subtracting rational expressions with different denominators. In my first problem, neither one of these denominators can be factored. They are different. So I'm going to have both of those together as my LCD. With that, I'm going to now put the LCD under both of my fractions. Now I compare. Look at the old denominator to the new one that it has to be built to, and the factor that's missing from the old one is what I have to multiply the top by, because technically I'm multiplying by a 1. In this one, I need an x plus 5. Now that common denominator keeps coming. Don't leave it off. Even though all the work pretty much is now being done to the numerator, don't forget it. If you don't include it, then your answer will be incorrect. So I'm going to distribute the 7 through. Remember to take this negative, and since I have just a monomial factor here, I can do negative 4 and distribute it through. So negative 4x minus 20. So I got my common denominator. Combine like terms. And I can't really factor anything out of the numerator, so that would be my final answer. In my next problem, if I factor that denominator, so I start with my LCD with all the factors in my first one. Include any from the second denominator, but if you'll notice, it's already included. So this is my LCD. So let me write those under both of my fractions. Now we multiply the numerator by any factor that's missing, and since there's no factor missing, you can say you can multiply your numerator by 1, or just rewrite the fractions. It already has the common denominator I need. In this one, the factor I need is y minus 3. So let me get a big fraction bar. Remember to take the negative through with the 4, so negative 4y plus 12. Combine like terms. And that would be my answer. Let's go down to the next one. I've got some factoring I have to do. So I need you to pause me, go ahead and factor your denominators, and then unpause me and come back and see if you have the same factors that I do. Remember to FOIL those, double check, make sure that your factors are in fact what you need for that particular trinomial. So now my LCD, put it over here. Let me take my first one and get any factor that is not included in that, so that would be my x plus 3. So now I need to see if I can write a little bit smaller. So what is missing is the x plus 3. What is missing is the x plus 5. So distribute the 3x through. Remember that. Include it with that so you can change the sign and multiply all at the same time. Combine like terms. I could factor an x out of the numerator, and that would leave me x parentheses x minus 1, but if I don't have anything to cancel, then you really don't have to factor. If you do, just leave it in factored form. Okay, I've got binomials. Factor your denominators and see if you can get the LCD, so pause me. So that should be my LCD. So let me write that under both of my fractions. And what's missing here is a y. And back here, what's missing is a 4. Remember, that's going to change the signs. I'm going to have a -8. But I do believe this one does factor again. Go factor your numerator and see if you come up with what I do. Notice those are the same factors. So I have got y minus 2 over 4y. And that would be my answer. Majority of times these do not reduce, but every once in a while they do. So one more problem. Adding and subtracting rational expressions with opposite denominators. When one denominator is the opposite of the other, first multiply either rational expression by -1 over -1 to obtain a common denominator. Now we've had something like this. We are adding. But if you'll notice in this particular denominator, notice it's not in descending order or standard form. So that's the telltale sign that something's going on. So let me rewrite that one in descending order. So if I multiply this by -1, it will change those signs. So I'm going to have x squared minus 2 over 2x squared minus x minus 3 plus, and distribute the negative through, a -x plus 2 over 2x minus 3. So this is going to be a factor. We just have to see if it might be in this one. So let's go factor this. So pause me, go factor. So this does factor to x plus 1, 2x minus 3. That will be my LCD. If you'll notice, this one is already contained. So I've got to write down LCD because that is a skill that you've got to be able to do. I'll write it under both of my fractions. But this one stays as is because there's no building necessary. It already has your common denominator. Now since I've got a binomial already here and I'm going to have to multiply by another binomial, you need to go FOIL this So you've got to be careful. With a plus sign here, then whatever I multiply will be what will be in my numerator. If it were a minus, you really would need to FOIL it right in here. I think I'll FOIL it right in here and just say if that were a negative. See, that would give me a negative x squared. Outside is a minus 1x. Inside's a plus 2x. Last times last is a plus 2. So if this were a minus, all of these signs would change. But since it's a plus, then whatever signs I've got are the signs that I'm going to keep. That'll give me a plus 1x. So we're almost done. So that eliminates, and I'm just left with x over . And that would be my final answer. And that's it for this video. Thank you.